premiership favourites have come and gone. They've shone and faded, soared and dived. But one constant has remained. The reliable, resilient, redoubtable Sydney Swans.
Oh, wonderful!
Never flamboyant, always patient. The Swans are the wild card in the pack. But tonight, they face off against a gang of hustlers who know
win tonight, and for Geelong, they've been in the prelim final for the last 5 years. They need to make a statement as well. And with Brett Kirk tonight, who knows all about the Swans being successful. Hey, Kirky, the Cats don't play at this ground all that often, and it is different, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, Bruce. It is a unique ground, small confines, but I think it really suits the Geelong midfield. They've got big bodies, they love the contest, and looking at their numbers, they're a lead in the centre bounce clearances. So I think that's the key to unlocking this SCG.
Remarkable. Demolition going on at the SCG, and this is what's been put in what was the change rooms place. Well, if you're going to warm up, they say walking is good. Now we're inside the facility, and they're getting ready to come out. These shots are live. 3 changes tonight for the Cats. And they've still got to make that journey, and I would imagine most of it they will walk, Lee.
Well, yes, it's just the way it is, yeah, when the ground's being redone. I don't think they're about to bowl over the cricket club here, Dennis, but certainly the far end goals, which are to the left of the camera screens, is where the rooms used to be prior to this construction going on.
Last time we were here, I think, with our cameras, as we take a look at the Geelong lineup, I mentioned the 3 changes, still undecided about their ruck combinations. Last time we were here, I've got to say that the Western Bulldogs, Lee, didn't handle the travel all that well, neither in the aeroplane or the walk across.
They got tired on the way into the ground from the dressing room. We have a look at the Geelong team. Simpson, Dawson Simpson, 4th game, 23 years of age. Geelong are struggling in the ruck. Brad Ottens is their ruck coach. I think they'd still love him to be their #1 ruckman, because I think Simpson and West, they're 2 specialists, what I would call journeyman ruckman, but I don't know whether they're getting enough out of either of them. Sometimes you wonder whether James Podsiadly has to be the 2nd ruckman.
So the Sydney side, a couple of changes there. Good names come back. Goods and McGlynn replace Malcheski and Dennis Lane. Not far away from their best side. Both these sides stronger this week than at their last start, that's for sure.
It's a tail.
Goods back in action immediately, winning the toss of the coin, so they will go down towards the Flemington end of the ground.
Well, Joel Soldi's a good player. I mean, he's still in the prime of his career, still only early 20s. While he's there fit and well, Geelong are always going to be more than competitive. And Steve Johnson, bottom right, he can turn any game of footy if he's really on.
Spoke about Adam Goods at the start of the game. Be really interesting to see how he goes with 7 weeks out of the game. And Ted Richards, I think, is the All-Australian centre-half back right now. Intercepts the ball exceptionally well and rebounds effectively and maintains possession.
Should be a good ride tonight, this one. The umpires, Donlan, Margetts and McInerney. Lewis Jetta has been starring. Token of respect, Corey Enright is standing him. Late arriving crowd, but it's built up. So much to play for tonight, so much to learn. Opening bounce on Friday Night Football. Rucks go at it on the way down, won by Simpson. Armstrong did well, slipped a hand pass across to support. The kick goes from Bolton down towards half forward. Lonergan missed it, tracks it. Sliding is Reid, slipping a hand pass away O'Keefe. Now it's with Jack, runs it around the outer side, drives it inside the forward 50, and the mark is taken by Enright. Well played by Johnson. Got Jack into open space there with a hand pass, but the kick, not that flash. Now Scarlett in the back pocket. Breaking hard is Mackey, and he'll take the ball now.
Mentioned Matthew Scarlett there, Dennis. He's actually lining up at full back on Shane Mumford. The Swans have thrown Shane Mumford forward early.
Short ball back towards the middle of the ground. This is Josh Hunt. Takes something off this kick. Oh, needed to be precise, and it was. Kelly juggles the mark.
And a good one too, wasn't it, by Kelly? Jack was right on him. And Kelly, another precise kick to Motlop. A lot of these Swans, Cats players playing at the SCG for the first time. Good kick to Johnson, so hitting their targets. So Johnson in sort of the heart of that centre square. And that kick to half forward. Now Chapman's the go, and Matner comes across and belts the ball out of play. They do look so evenly matched, these teams. I mean, tough, hard midfields.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Stephen. Nice little ball, Nick.
Deep midfields as well. So Pike and Simpson, didn't think we'd be calling them at the start of the year as leading the first rucks in these two teams. Kelly was down low, Jack over the top, and that ball not coming out. That'll be a ball up.
It's an interesting point. We see on the television screen there, that's about 2/3 of the players on the field are all in the television screen. When the ball breaks into space, that's when the Jettas and Motlops and players like that, absolutely critical, that speed and run.
Real mass around the football. Smith close to the boundary line. It bounces in play and goes out in front of Josh Hunt. I think at the opening bounce I might have called Bolton Armstrong. Not an easy mistake to make. We've got a throw in just forward of the wing. Armstrong starting on the bench, as I said. He might be in the action now, the way they swing around. In fact, it was Josh Kennedy. Third time lucky, Bruce. Thank you. Well, the boundary throw in out there.
If you look at the game at the beginning, it's pairs of players all over the field. Neither side is trying to drop a player into space and allow the opposition to do the same. Very honest game.
Now the ruckman touched the foot. He falls behind. Well done by Selwood. Breaks away. Gets it down towards half forward. Running back with the flight. Richards runs away from him and goes out. Wins warm applause there from Podsy Adley.
And just on that point, Lee, both these sides are ranked 1 and 2 respectively at conceding marks against. So they are defensively minded sides and accountable sides as a premise.
So far Geelong, 8 disposals, all kicks. Simpson taps it in front. O'Keefe did well, got the arms free. Stokes came hard, was taken high by Matner. So Stokes down towards right half forward.
Off a step, Stokes. Hawkins goes very, very early. Podgielli does the roving. Wanted to try and get a handball across. Was held up by Jack, and then Richards did so well, and then check-sides the ball, so he keeps the ball in play. LRT can't quite release it to Goods. Well done by Simpson. Taylor off the left foot. And Smith read it best. So the Swans, now O'Keefe. That's a great kick. They've opened the run. Now McGlynn sort of had a little slip and slide, and Scarlett didn't come to him, but he should kick a goal. Running in, Vinny goes bang. Well, I reckon Matthew... No, I can't tell Matthew what to do. And I'm not going to start to, but someone had to go to the footy, and because McGlynn had taken a long time to get his feet, and I think if Scarlett had taken off, but no, I won't go there.
Well, Jetta was there alongside as well, so there were plenty of opportunities for the Swans streaming forward. Certainly opened up. He's become an expert at that, McGlynn.
Plays this ground really well, McGlynn. This is his favourite little ground.
This is exactly how the Swans have been playing their footy. They get back hard defensively, and then their half forwards push hard forward. Likes of Ben McGlynn, Jetta, and here we are, McGlynn running onto the ball.
Brett, where did Ben McGlynn come from on that occasion? He seems to pop up from nowhere.
Yeah, from centre-half back. He's a great gut runner.
After the bounce, Bolton swings a boot at it, missed. Taken high, Bartell, no free kick. Jack's in there, moves the ball, not 15, says the umpire. Joel Corey had a piece of it. Mackey put down. Hand pass came across to Bolton from Jack. Kick inside the forward 50. Here's Goods back in the action. Big roar from the crowd. Anticlimax. It goes out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in.
When Adams Goods plays as a key forward, that's where he's really dangerous running towards goal.
He's got so much speed for the players he's normally. I mean, Harry Taylor's not, I guess, not slow, but Goods is going to leave him behind on the run.
You won't be tired if you step in front of him. Ball spills at the feet of the pack. Over the football is Hunt, trying to get to his feet there. Taylor Hunt, taken by Simpson. Mackie ricochets off O'Keefe, close to the boundary line, stayed in. Picked up well by Taylor. Feeds the ball forward. Was that high? Mackie goes to ground. It was at Selwood. I should have known as soon as I said it was that high. He is a master. Didn't get the kick that time.
Always leans forward into the tackle. It would have been high, but the umpire was unsighted behind a pack of players.
And that Secret is bringing his own arm up. We've got a whistle. Bolton snapped a goal. The ball is coming back. I think it's going to be, well, he's paid advantage. Paid advantage, and Bolton kicked it out of the congestion.
You spoke to Chris Scott. I think it was Kirk. He spoke to John Longmire about the quick start. Well, I guess Sydney's are the ones that got out of the block with a couple of goals early on.
Absolute master of that, Jude Bolton. If you just look, he's read the situation well. He's got to the contest and then realised there's plenty of numbers at it. I just need to position myself a metre and a half off it to get the handball received. Bought himself some space and finished off with the goal.
It's the typical Munford, isn't it? He's the ruckman, but he's actually got his hands on the ball, the clearance, and fed it out.
Yep.
Well, the last 4 matches the Swans have played, 25 first quarter goals for them, 5 for the opposition. So it's a good start. 2 goals, and that is very high.
He got that one.
Against Pike. So Selwood getting down low and then just running off the mark and kicking to full forward. He's got 2 opportunities there and roving it brilliantly. Motlop, geez, in good nick. Likes a Friday night goal, does Motlop.
Well, 7 goals in the last 2 weeks. A personal best of 3 2 games ago. And then getting the 4 at his last outing. So he's in rare form, and they're going to need him tonight. He bobs up a bit like Jetta, as we discussed before the game, at the other end.
Gee, that was a bit easy, wasn't it, though, from Sydney's point of view?
Interesting to see where he came from, Motlop. You see him, he just pushed off his Swans opponent, read the ball beautifully off the hands of his forwards.
Direct opponent on that occasion, Reece Shaw. They both came off the ground together, so you can suspect that they'll be going on and off the ground all night.
Centre square proving very important early. Jack hooks it inside the forward 50. Pike came up to meet it. Down goes Hunt, slaps it out. Well played. In trouble down there, Corey. Going to ground, Duncan. Comes back to Selwood. Breaks away inside the centre square. Towards half forward. Awkward one for Stokes. Taken by Matner. Goes back to Smith with some time. Matner. About 15 metres. Grundy. And now they buy some time and they can settle. Although Bird wants to go in short and does. Finds Armstrong. Armstrong off his step. McVeigh as they start to build on the centre wing. Geelong have dropped some back. McVeigh, though, looking for a long target. Goes wide of Mumford. Reid is the man. Works in front. Couldn't get a hand to it. Pike cast in the role of a rover. That's undesirable. Clattering into the pack was Joel Corey. Hanbury's over it and passes to Bird, to Kennedy. Kennedy snaps across the face of goal. Thompson bounces to Reid. Did he get boot to ball? I think he did. Well, they had a lot of big guys doing the crumbing there, Bruce, but it worked out okay. Firstly, Pike, and then Reid. And that was a good kick coming in. I don't know that Kennedy went at goal. It was about 5 or 6 metres off the goal line. He was on a very sharp angle. And then Reid arrived like the cavalry just in the nick of time and put it through.
It's really great work here from Lewis Roberts-Thompson. Brought the ball to the front. You almost see the flat hands with the awareness that Sam Reid's at his feet to get the front square. That's a great goal.
Well, Brett Kirk talked about centre squares and how important they'd be before the start of the match, and we've seen it so far. Kelly got that one, and then West, that great smother by Hanbury. Good tackle by Kelly, brought him down. O'Keefe toe poked, and Hunt belted it. Bolton taken down by Duncan. And then that's a poor handball from Smith, coughed it up. Johnson was able to get it. Then Motlop, so quick Motlop. Back to another quickie in Taylor Hunt. And a good smother coming from Kennedy, who Tom will catch up with, caught up with him during the week, and that'll be a highlight at half-time, Josh Kennedy. So time in the forward half there. There's Taylor Hunt. his pace is such an important thing for Geelong, isn't it? He sort of helps to make the jigsaw complete with this great team that have won 110 out of their last 131 games. It's an incredible effort. Scarlett, great tackling, gang tackling. Enright down low to Kelly, and then Kelly to Taylor Hunt, and then Taylor Hunt off a step to half forward. Johnson protected the football brilliantly, maybe a little unlucky not to get a free kick and a boundary throw in.
Looking at the midfield matchups, there's no hard tags, which is unusual for the Swans. So always seeing at the moment Kennedy and Selwood going head to head. It's going to be a great battle.
So boundary throw it on the other side. In front, Mumford reaching over the top. West. It comes back to Big Mumford. He's taken down immediately, and the umpire will call for it.
The only matchup that you can really see of creative value, if you like, is on the half-back line for Geelong on Corey Enright on Lewis Jetta. Brett Kirk's spot on. There's plenty of midfield rotations at the moment.
Mumford knocked it down, basically at his feet, trying to crawl his way forward. Kennedy. Kelly going backwards into the arms of the waiting Bird. It's going to be tough tonight. You can sense that already. Sydney want to play this style of game. That man doesn't, though. Jetta, he needs some space. I'm sure they can accommodate him. Mumford hooks it down behind. Quick thinking by West to midfield. Enright comes across the ground. Johnson sends it inside the forward 50. Edged under the ball. Hawkins gets the free. Podsy Adley took the mark. So either way.
Tom, your kick, mate.
Just looked like it was giving him a shot at goal from 30 metres out, Grundy. He just landed on his back as he went to jump. It's always going to be a free kick. See that? Pushed him under the footy, but you might as well just give him the footy.
That's right.
Very poor defence.
Well, he's got it now. Interesting, before the crowd booing Joel Selwood. Can you imagine dinner time at the Selwoods? Just headlines, or rather hairlines, poking through the top of their T-shirts around the dinner table. As the kick comes from Hawkins, and he's tugged it left and puts it through for a minor score.
Be a desperate battle for seconds, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Short one comes in. Richards having a grand season. Goes along the boundary line. Awkward one there for Johnson. There's a Selwood. Fires it in towards centre half forward. Beat the man it was intended for. Lurking behind O'Keefe. Gave it across to Hanbury. They work it away. Smith back to O'Keefe. Hit Bolton in the back. Not guarded there by Bartell. Mumford did well. Gives it to Richards.
And then Richards on the left. That's just too tall in the end for Hanbury, but still a chance. Jack. Hawkins holds him up. Free kick though.
Kieran Jack is lying on his back, Tom.
I've got a size mismatch now with Adam Goods forward. It was Wojcinski. It's now Enright. Just need to get it in long and deep.
So Jack carefully out to Armstrong. Now Bird.
Thanks, Mitch.
So Bird. So it's a slow build-up and a poor one there. He had Hanbury and also McGlynn, and that's a poor kick by Bird. Hunt. And that's a poor kick. Johnson belting it away. Bartell couldn't quite. Kennedy, Mumford. Handball was good. Coming back from Bolton to Johnson, and that's a great kick. Sydney have worked it well in the end. They got some relief, and McGlynn again.
I tell you what, Chris got to be saying, who's on Ben McGlynn? Because this is twice now he's popped up 20 metres from anyone in the forward 50. So somehow or other, some of the Geelong smaller defenders are actually just getting a bit messed up. Who's on who?
He was in good form before he was suspended. He kicked 7 goals in the 3 matches prior, and tonight he's kicked 2 goals in the opening quarter. And now Geelong have got a bit of a problem on the scoreboard.
How sweet was that? Got to check with Kirky again whether he came through the interchange gate that time.
See what, Dan, they're accurate in opening terms. Remember against the Bulldogs, we were here a couple of weeks ago, and what were they, 9 goals without a miss, weren't they, Sydney, in the opening quarter?
I'm flattered you're asking me, Bruce.
Oh, okay.
Was I here?
You're amazed like I was on the day. Here they are, 4 goals without a miss.
Yeah.
There you go. Get the spread from congestion. That's the Swans are just, there's a very congested game of footy around the stoppages, but the Swans are just getting into space from the spread better than Geelong at the moment.
Rucks go at it his second time. Bartell hurriedly advances at about 15 metres. McVeigh met solidly by Johnson coming off the line. Bolton slips a hand pass away. The other Johnson, Sydney's towards half forward. Mackie missed the mark. Here's a chance. Although Mackie gets back. Well played. Under duress, went to ground. Kennedy tries to get it forward. This is Sydney Swans football at its best. Urgency certainly. Loving the contest. No free kick.
Bruce spoke about how precise the Swans are in their build-up forward. I think they've changed a little bit tonight. They're going a bit shorter because they know how good the Geelong defenders are.
A lot of body work there. Simpson won it down. Bolton brilliantly. Kennedy, McVeigh. Hurry kick and the mark is taken by McGlynn again. Somebody get on McGlynn. Ball comes across to Armstrong and he's marked about 25 metres out directly in front.
We saw some fascinating vision just before where Ben McGlynn was rotating his fingers, showing how much he rotates on the ground. I was just watching before he pushed right up. James Kelly was his direct opponent then and decided to move back. Ben McGlynn just slides into play almost under the radar and bobs up, and we refer to him as the pop-up sprinkler at times, but that's just extraordinary.
Armstrong comes in. Former Crow puts it straight through the middle. Lightning start now by Sydney.
He's an emerging player, Armstrong. It might be a little early to be saying all of that, but he had a very good match last time they played the Bombers. I saw a bit of him, Dennis, in Adelaide. He played at North Adelaide as well as the Crows, and Adelaide actually had a big opinion of him, a really big opinion of him. So he's a real good pickup, I reckon.
And of course, Tommy broke a big story on him.
He did.
Last time we were here, or the time before, but people still talk about it.
Yeah, the Armstrong affair, but he's a good pickup, isn't he?
Yeah, he started the game exceptionally well last outing against the Bombers and continuing that form right now.
So 5 goals in this opening term, and the Cats with some problems. Hanbury, that was brilliant play. Mumford, Hanbury, McVeigh, Shaw running hard and then kicking to the pocket. Free kick.
That was unusual that Roberts Thompson actually got on the move. Normally he plays that forward role and just stays around the goal square and tries just to hold the defender back, and but that time he actually got on the move, and Scarlett just maybe wasn't expecting the lead, grappled.
Well, the last time they played here, they kicked 9 straight in the opening term, which was an all-time record for accuracy for the Swans in the first quarter. Now they're on 5 straight here. Roberts Thompson's 5-2 from set shots this year. This is a hard kick, and it's not going to make it in the end. And Harry Taylor, good fella that Harry is, saves the percentages.
And they're struggling to hang on right here, the Cats. So far, they've been bullied by the Swans as the ball goes to the outer side. Podsy Adley, that's better. They've come a long way forward. You can see where he is, deep in his own defence, just outside the defensive 50. High ball to the wing, in from the side. Mackner thumps it down. Armstrong copped the brunt of it. It ricochets out of bounds.
I haven't seen a lot of the Swans live this year. I'm impressed by their outside run.
Yeah.
That's what has elevated them, I reckon, from being a very good team to maybe top 4. They've now got movement away from the stoppages.
Simpson knocks it down. Fair to say the Cats need the next goal. Hanbury wrestles there with Johnson. No one trying to get it out. Not incumbent upon them, though, because it was locked about a metre away under the legs of Simpson. 2 coaches. Both of them in their infancy as far as coaching goes. Duncan's kick smothered. Jack, half chance. Johnson did well. Selwood, who's been very busy inside the forward 50, chested down there by Grundy. Pushed across the line by Shaw.
We ask how Ben McGlynn gets himself free in the forward half. He's actually pushed right down in the defensive 50 now. Direct opponents can get lost in this situation. See him on screen there. He'll push forward pretty hard to get on the end of one across half forward.
Mumford won the tap pretty comfortably. Kelly off a step, hooks the ball back to a good spot, but too easy. Johnson in front of Stokes and takes the mark. Shaw. How good was he the last time we saw them here against the Dogs? Had 30 disposals and was a star. Kennedy running hard and a boundary throw. Now, you talked about outside run, and that's a little bit of a query with Geelong too, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that is Geelong. We spoke about Motlop, Duncan. Most of their outside run, I think, comes with their next generation players, not so much their real core group.
So Mumford and the giant behind him in Simpson. And then a strong tackle from Kennedy. And then, as a coach, when do you start to worry about the scoreboard? I mean, it's very early, it's only 4 goals. But
well, you always worry about the scoreboard, but it's that you can't do much about that. Or you can just stick to what your plans were, because it's too easy to go away from what you're trying to do pre-game.
Plenty of minutes left, as you would say, Lee.
Yeah,
Kennedy
right.
across to
Look at
Jetta.
that.
Jetta, long kick. What a beautiful kick. Lewis Jetta continues what he's done so well for the last month.
Well, Lee, that was amazing, wasn't it? The ball's on the wing, and then it's through for the goals in about 3 seconds.
The shortest ground in the AFL, and Nick Maxwell did put Lewis Jetta in our All-Australian side.
Our All-Australian team, he did.
Across half forward. His form's been outstanding. You talk about that outside run, and this is why the future is really bright for the Sydney Swans, because players like Jetta are coming through, Armstrong's coming through, Hanbury's only 21, 22, but they've got the ability to win the ball on the inside. And just watch...
Just on the edge. Remember, he kicked 19 behinds before he kicked his first goal. It was a bit of a curiosity a couple of years ago. He's not doing much missing lately.
Oh, he looks just so assured with his ball in hand at the moment, and kicks just so truly.
Well, he's having an extraordinary year, Jetta, and he's a magnificent field kick. McVeigh, and of course the irony was that 19 consecutive points in his opening season without a goal.
High contact. Going down to get the footy. High contact to Bolton.
So the Dockers kicked 6 first-quarter goals against the Cats in round 1. Adelaide kicked 6 first-quarter goals against the Cats, and now the Swans have. So Geelong really leaking here. Taylor in the back half. Good mark. No impact from Good so far, but funnily enough, he hasn't had a whole lot of chances, even though they've kicked 6 goals. That kick to centre wing. And in the front spot was Western, a boundary throw-in.
Just that point about Ben McGlynn pushing right upfield. A lot of players can do that, but having the run and the guts to run back quickly as well. Not just push up and try and get a cheap kick in defence, but actually get forward when you need to.
Boundary throw-in. In front West. Selwood, no chance there, was in mid-air when he was tackled. 5 possessions so far for Joel Selwood. Got the best on the ground, though, at the present time. Ryan O'Keefe has 7. Closely followed by Josh Kennedy with 6. Which tells something of a story right there. In and under. And there's Kennedy again. Took the advantage. Looked back over his shoulder. Everybody seemed to slow down. Kick inside the forward 50. And Pike takes the mark.
You know, whatever I reckon what the Swans big forwards are trying to do on Scarlett really is just to make sure Scarlett can't mark it. And Pike, all he was trying to do was engage Scarlett's body, but it did it really well, and then just put the hands up and pluck the mark.
Hasn't kicked a goal this season. When he comes from 40 out, and he puts it through. And his teammates, well, they're really tepid. They come to him now.
Well, what an amazing opening quarter. I mean,
what did we say last time we had one like this, though, Bruce? The only thing that gives you some hope for the opposition is it's happened so early.
No, for sure, no doubt about that. But in Sydney's last 3 first quarters here at the SCG, they've kicked 7 goals 1, 9 goals 0, and 7 goals 0. Their last 3 games, yes, it's amazing.
There comes a point in time when the score is as it is to see Andrew Mackie on the wing. He's actually loose at this stage as a halfback for Geelong. Should really be in line with the contest. The ball came down. Pike was able to take a one-on-one mark. Andrew Mackie should have been the 3rd man in to help out then.
Well, Johnson's poor kicker than Armstrong kicks the ball to Bird.
Well, Mackie was ready to attack, Tom. He wasn't ready to defend.
Well, it may have been, but I think if the goal is the deficit 7-zip, you should be a bit deeper in defence, I think.
Ball to the pocket. Talked earlier about Geelong's amazing run. 131 matches, 110 wins. Only once in the 131 matches has a team kicked 7 goals against them in the opening term. It was when Collingwood thrashed them in that 2010 prelim. So this is what Sydney have done to them tonight. It's an extraordinary opening quarter here, and Mumford banging the ball forward. Hunt getting back. And heard the uppie. Taylor over the top. Mackie off a step. Richards to go and take the mark. He played it so well, did Teddy. His interception this year has been outstanding. And now Richards to kick the ball to fall forward. They've been taking marks inside the forward 50, but Taylor has taken a couple of good ones back there. That was unopposed.
Here's Scarlett to the opposite pocket, and Bartell, some famous names right there. Little kick bounces just outside the 50. Motlop walks it in. Under pressure, short, not 15, in right to Bartell, half volley. He kicks under pressure as well. Johnson got a fickle bounce over the football. Mumford went to ground. It spills back towards Wojcinski. He's tackled by Burden, put down. Picked up by Hawkins, in trouble. Hand passes forward. Well done, Armstrong. Got it from Jetta. Kicks inside the forward 50. Could have almost been a free kick to Goods. Crumbing the pack there, Lonigan. Comes to Mackey. Mackey to the wing. This is Duncan. Duncan looks back towards half forward. Johnson has to wait. Grundy did not wait. He came strongly. Did brilliantly. Goes back to Smith. Hand pass from O'Keefe. Releases Jetta. It's in his contract to do this a couple of times a game as he goes down towards half forward. Carried under the ball is Reed, and he'll get the free kick.
It's terrible as a player when one of those freezers just looks at you and says, I'm just going to run past you.
Wasn't that extraordinary?
That's what he did to Stokes.
He had a quick glance and said, I'm going to have to go here. Watch this here. Looked inside and up. Yeah. It's up to me to carry the ball.
Well, even Bruce has conceded that Carl Lewis is the old Lewis. This guy's the new one on the block. He's 60 metres out. He sends it down towards full forward. They'll compete right on the goal line to the back of the pack. Taken there by Bartell.
He wants the boundary line, does Jimmy. Johnson, Motlop, Hanbury, well done by Selwood, and a boundary throw in. What are we seeing here, Lee? Are we seeing the beginning of the end?
Oh, no, I think we're seeing a very good team. I mean, it's 7 goals straight, so whenever, Taylor marked on the goal line for Geelong, but Swans have just taken every opportunity, but they just keep winning the stoppages, running into space better.
Chapman to Wojcinski, keeps it down low. So often that ball has been intercepted in this opening term. Matner with time and space out wide. Wasn't a great kick. Bartell has been in the back half collecting some possessions under pressure. So quick there, Jack. On the up, and then rode a couple. McVeigh just didn't quite take it cleanly, but Scrubber to kick forward. Oh. Goods attacking. No free kick. Bartell's been good in the last 5 minutes. Hunt to Enright. Chappie underneath it. Good mark by Chapman.
Senses the game extremely well, Jimmy Bartell. Pushed himself defensively to fill a hole just for the time being.
Yeah, he's willed himself, hasn't he, into this game. And now Hawkins.
Right on the wing. Johnson indicating where he wants the football. Now, the umpire is coming across and he's going to reset the mark.
James!
See more and more. Adam Goods, when he's gone to the footy 2 or 3 times so far, you can tell he hasn't played for a long time. It's like, doesn't matter how good players are, there's such a frantic tempo that the game is being played at in this modern era that they just seem to take some time to acclimatise.
So Hawkins, with a lot of Swans back now, as you'd expect, inside down by 35 points. Goes very close to the boundary line. Punched down towards Steve Johnson. In dangerous hands. He was taken high. Now a throw. Sydney to get the free then. His opposite number, Johnson, with the ball. Well, that was very short. Shaw. Armstrong looks back inside. Finds some space. Drives it down towards half forward. Reed goes to ground. Umpire said no. Well, that was interesting. Was there a call to play on? Not sure. Must have been. Scarlett's got it. Goes deep back inside the 50. Mark is taken by Enright. Jetta did well to smother. He was right there on the occasion, but apparently deemed fair.
Jetta closing again. Chappie had a 2-on-1 on the other side, but he wasn't confident enough to go there. Geelong, rare you see them on the back foot like this, and they are really on the back foot. Here's Scarlett. They've just got to weather the storm for as long as possible, and then maybe a counter-attack. They want that siren to go, don't they? That kick to almost to centre wing. Mackey stayed down. It was a good option, but that handball to a contest, and Sydney have been so good there. Selwood just slung down. Was it Munford? It was high in the end. So Selwood did a Selwood, eh?
Yeah, that point is a say, Bruce. Sometimes you've got to stop the scoring thrust by the opposition. I mean, that's really just got to consolidate the game for 5 or 10 minutes, Geelong.
Well, they've stacked the numbers back a bit, Lee, haven't they? The Cats in the last 5-10 minutes. Mumford short. And this explosive Jetta, look at him on his toes here. You'd be careful if you're the man on the mark with Jetta, wouldn't you? So Jetta, that's a lovely kick. That is superb. And really should have taken the mark there, O'Keefe. Hunt, back to Kelly off a step. Out wide, good kick. And Bartelli's had, as we said, a really good 10 minutes here.
So the clock is running down to quarter time, less than a minute to go in this term. Chapman's got it. Just lobs it to Kelly. Down to 25 now. Will they go for it? Heard the call. Duncan sends a high ball. A lot resting on the shoulders of Stokes. Thumped away by Armstrong. Roving the pack. Shaw comes to Hunt. We're down to 10 seconds. The mark is taken by Grundy. So Grundy goes in short to Johnson, and that will be the last action of the term. What a quarter.
When the ball spreads.
The intensity's been fantastic from the Swans, no doubt about that. It's their efficiency going forward, the 17 inside 50 entries and the 7 goals, and that's been a trend the Swans have had for the last month or so. So from limited opportunities in the last month, they've been kicking big scores. Now they're getting massive opportunities. They're going to
do you reckon their midfield group are getting sucked to the footy too much?
The Geelong midfielders?
Yeah, but it seems like they're actually, it's like equal numbers at the footy, but when the ball starts to get away from the stoppage, the Swans guys are getting left behind. That outside coverage is something they must be talking about consistently, let alone tonight.
Well, these two sides have had a great reputation and rivalry over a long period of time around contested football, and this is a new style of football the Swans are playing at the moment with the likes of Jetta on the outside. So the Cats midfielders certainly need to be aware of the outside run.
Start of the second term on Friday Night Football. 35 points the margin. Selwood stumbles, in trouble, did well. Wojcinski feeds it back to Hunt, Taylor Hunt. High ball, just goes beyond the wing. Hitting the crumb Johnson, swings it out wide. Enright found a way through, well almost, stood up, hand passes forward, thumped back in his direction, but wide by O'Keefe, and it goes out of bounds. I would imagine that Chris Scott may have just spoken about Essendon and their effort against Sydney in Sydney's last game. And I would imagine, too, that John Longmire would be aware of that. The margin was 37 points from memory at halftime. And that ended in a thriller. So still a long way for Sydney to go. But this is a great start for them. Boundary throw-in.
And the difference on that occasion, Den, was it was a home game for the Bombers. It's very difficult, certainly not saying it's beyond the realms of possibility, but very difficult to claw back a major deficit when you're playing away from home.
Pike and Simpson, Selwood's little kick didn't get very far, but Corey picked it up and off the step. Podsiadly, well, no free kick there. Matner, who's playing loose, they're both set up with one loose at the back. Poor kick by Matner. Enright cut it off. Pretty good tackle though, and then Johnson hooking the ball back to a dangerous spot. Well done by Motlop, but gee, gave a free kick away to Shaw. His body was good early, Motlop, but then the second effort was poor on Reece Shaw when the ball had gone away.
Yeah, it looks like Geelong, I think, have set that up, Bruce, have said late in the first quarter with Bartel back.
So Reece Shaw spearing the ball to Kieran Jack. Just a fumble, and now he's in trouble, I reckon. He's gone.
On ball, no genuine attempt.
So didn't think his way through there. Johnson's dangerous handball to Wojcinski's dangerous handball to Corey, to a bloke who loves danger in Selwood. And, well, it wasn't a dangerous kick at all. It was
great chase, though, wasn't it, by Jack? That's the ability just to get a fingernail or two on the back of the opponent. You just put the pressure on him. Have a look at this chase. That fantastic possible goal goes out of bounds.
Angry with himself, getting caught moments before on the boundary line and holding it. Was kicked to half back. Simpson got an awkward bounce. Chapman at the back of the pack. Bounces one to Selwood. Back to Chapman. Chapman kicks inside the forward 50. McGlynn waiting. Well, maybe a lack of talking there. Matner coming up behind him. McGlynn feeds it back. Grundy. Deeper still. Richards measures the hand pass taken by Matner. Drives it back towards the wing. 3-on-2 here. They don't need the extra man initially. They used him though. Hunt took the mark. Gave it to that extra man. And as a result, Chapman to Wojcinski, and the mark is taken 20 metres out now by Podsiadly.
It's all about leverage, isn't it? He had the front position. He looked like he was in a good position, Richards, but just he had the leverage, Podsiadly, to push his hip into his, not let him back, just fall back into the chest mark.
Well, they need this one. That's an understatement. He kicked 5 against the Swans, round 7, 2010. Maybe this can kick-start them. And he comes and puts it through. The second on the board for the Cats. Down now by 29 points. They're under pressure that time, the Swans' defence, and this has been something a little abnormal so far to start this quarter, the game being played in Sydney's defensive half. They were under pressure and they kicked it to a 3-on-2, and Chapman able to stay off the pack and let his teammates win it. Then they fed it to him, and Podsiadly the beneficiary.
We're going to turn the clock back at half-time tonight on Friday Night Footy. So what's your favourite SCG memory? Let us know. Depends a lot on who you barrack for, I guess, but I'm sure the Swans fans will hop to it. Jack's handball. So good start for the Cats here, and what they've been able to do is get a wall across centre wing, and they haven't been able to get it past, and running hard and going forward with Jinsky to the goal square. Podsiadly in a contest with Richards. Richards bangs the ball out. He wants the boundary line. Jetta gets up there before it rolls out and takes it over that line.
Bruce, you talk about the wall across the centre wing, and we're seeing the two different styles of the loose man in defence. It's Jimmy Bartel who's playing that role for Geelong at the moment, pushing right up with the premise to take the ball off the opposition as early as possible. Sydney prefer to have their looser man a bit further deeper in their defence.
Ball slowly coming out. Bolton did well, and then Bird and Bartel.
I'm not sure if I'd allow a loose man if I was the Swans. I reckon the game's really going in their favour, and it just stabilised when they allowed Geelong to have their spare man back. So I reckon John Longmire might be thinking about whether he just plays a little bit more forward than spare defence.
West won it down. Comes back towards O'Keefe. Bolton involved, and the ball goes out of bounds.
And further to that, Lee, the ideal player for Geelong to play that role is someone like Jimmy Bartel, because he knows how to read the ball. He's brave in the air, and he's a midfielder at heart, so he knows where the ball's going.
Again, West in front. Again, first hand of the ball. Follows up his own good work. Kelly had it for a while. Jack in mid-air. Got away. Scrambles it forward about 15 metres. Mackie a fumble. Well taken by O'Keefe. Kennedy looping hand pass, and now the run comes from Shaw. Look at him go through midfield. Shaw searching kick, but not a particularly good one inside the forward 50. Scarlett doesn't need an advantage. He hacks it out towards the wing, taken by Josh Hunt. Looks back. That's an untidy kick. Bartel played it okay. Well done. Bird, I think, took the wrong angle. I thought for a moment Bartel was going to hang on too long. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Matner goes back and controls it nicely.
He's on his wrong side, but he's kicked a dangerous footy out there. It was a 2-on-1 and could be a turnover. Lonergan to Duncan to Mackie, off a step to centre half forward. Podsiadly in the front spot. Kennedy's been industrious. Back goes Grundy, back to Kennedy. It's been 16 minutes since the Swans have scored, so at least Geelong have been able to do that. They've stopped the flood. Bird to centre half back to Matner. So Matner goes the safe way laterally.
The Swans early were just moving the ball really quickly into their forward line, but as soon as you allow the opposition to spare man back, you know if you do that you're probably going to be outnumbered. Changes the whole game style.
Well, this is the first time, Lee, they're probably going to get the ball deep forward with some cohesion in the second quarter, you would think. Let's see what Johnson can do. He kicks the ball to about the 50, or Roberts-Thompson defending as a forward, as he does so well, and a boundary thrown. So they get that stoppage, Sydney, at half forward right. John Longmire, by the way, his dear mum passed away in the last week. Service for her yesterday, and that's the reason the black armbands for the Swans tonight.
Mumford tapped it down. McVeigh did well. Quick hands across to Bird. Very high ball. Goods almost the chest mark. Spills in front. Lonergan didn't take it cleanly. In goes Taylor Hunt. Going to ground. A couple of Swans, one of whom was Reid. Now it comes to Jetta. Jetta gives it across towards Shaw. Shaw's kick is way off the mark. Jetta may have been better advised to go himself. Out of bounds on the full. Again, the spacing very good for the Swans off the pack. Here's Scarlett. But certainly Geelong playing with a lot more intent and intensity in this term. Bartel, their spare man back. Out against the boundary line, as you can see. Looks inside, told to go, didn't come up the line. High ball short of the wing. Potsy Hadley, what a pluck, plays on immediately. Across to Chapman, sold him into trouble at least initially. Now the run from Hunt.
And Hunt's kick to half forward. Shaw's back with Hanbury to Grundy, some good play there. And Grundy's got McGlynn. Here's a spearing pass. McGlynn did so well there. Back to Hanbury. Kelly's hurt himself. Again, a good contest by Johnson. Pace shown by Smith. It was a clever enough kick in the end, but Geelong again able to get that wall. It's between centre wing as Kelly picks himself up, centre wing and half back. Just feel like Sydney now playing like they're protecting the lead a little bit. They're not playing as instinctively as they were in the opening turn. And that foray forward a moment ago was a good illustration of that. They had chances and they fumbled them, and Reece Shaw's kick was awful. Johnson thinking all the time, what a kick. Not Pythagoras couldn't have done that.
Here's the collision here with James Kelly. That's just great courage by Kelly and fierce attack on the footy by Ben McGlynn. But we see Steve Johnson just has a great awareness of where the space is, and he almost makes forwards lead to him as opposed to the forward leading to or making their own decisions. Steve makes them for him.
Shouldn't compare Pythagoras to him. I'm not sure Pythagoras is clever enough. He's Einstein at times, isn't he? So Duncan just not getting quite the angle right and are behind. But as we said, at least Geelong have stopped the floodgates.
Well, they've slowed the game down. We've always thought of Geelong at their best, moving the ball quickly, playing quick, free-flowing footy, but just at the moment, the Swans have done that better, so Geelong just have to slow it down, and they've done it quite well.
Sure. Himself into trouble there. Grundy drives it towards the outer side from behind Goods, trying to fist it forward. In goes Selwood. He was stopped, and that ball I don't think is coming out. Trying to wrench it away. Mumford did well. Kelly, great to see him back in the action. He showed a lot of courage to his feet very quickly after running into McGlynn, and he sends it inside the forward 50. And the mark is taken by Hawkins. I would imagine running into McGlynn is like running into an armadillo.
Come down that line.
Impressive play by James Kelly. Just humped the ball only moments ago on the hands of the stretchers, of the trainers, I should say, and a spearing pass in, and the benefits of playing in front.
This is pretty impressive. And the Cats too. They've ratcheted things up. If he kicks this, you sense they're back in the game. Well, he hasn't kicked it. It's a pretty wayward kick out to the right. Across the line, so they could have done with that 42-15, but they breasted back control, at least for the moment.
Hawkins' set shots have got worse as the season's gone on. He's really struggling in that area at the moment. But the Cats grinding away. Bartel, such a big part of that first quarter. Kicking the ball to centre half forward. O'Keefe. This is again a dangerous kick, and then Shaw got into Mackie. Chapman, McGlynn got a high tackle. McGlynn, he really should have got a free kick there. And that ball not coming out, and someone's going to be pinged.
No genuine attempt to knock it clear. Ben.
So Mackie's free kick.
They must play on.
Now Selwood off a step. Podziat, he can't get there. And Matner takes the mark. But Geelong's marking in the forward 50, impressive. Matner plays and gets away with it to Hanbury, to Armstrong. But suddenly it's the Swans a bit on the back foot. And now Reid. They're having to be careful here, Sydney. They're playing as if they're frightened of making a mistake right now.
It really has turned around as Reid punches this one. Down towards half forward, off hands, it falls to a man who started very well, O'Keefe. Pulls it back inside the forward 50. Battling is Mumford with the pace. Jetta, plenty of that. Can he keep it alive? Not quite. Emerging with it, McVeigh snaps back over his shoulder. Puts it through for their first score in over 20 minutes. That is remarkable, but at least it's a step forward for them. And their first blemish on the scoreboard. They're 7-1. Geelong are 2-3. Enright virtually in the goal square as he takes this ball and sends it across to Bartel. Bartel back to Enright. And all this time, Sydney, I'm sure, picking up men forward of the ball. Lonigan is the target. That's a beautiful kick. And Lonigan takes the mark at right half back.
Thank you.
It was a great kick, Dennis. So Lonigan down the line. Hawkins worried out of it by Grundy there. And Duncan pushing forward. McGlynn dived in. Hunt was terrific. Corey to Duncan. Not sure if it was a throw from Corey. Awkward ball. Bolton probably should have taken it there, Jude. Back to Shaw. Back to Grundy. Now he's got Johnson. Can he get the ball to him? I think he will. Oh, it's a poor kick. Cut off almost by Johnson. It's Johnson and Johnson at the moment. And the more exclusive Johnson pushed it forward. Motlop running hard with McVeigh. Richards to intercept. Stokes gets in there. A goal really important here. Teddy Richards comes out with it and then wheels around and wobbles it unfashionably towards the boundary line. And a boundary throw-in.
Lee, just want to ask you a question about Jimmy Bartel. The Swans have got a good lead here at the moment, but he's the most influential player on the field at the moment. Do you do something about that from the Swans' perspective with a 5-goal lead?
Just said about 5 or 10 minutes ago, I don't know whether the loose man back's helping the Swans. I'd be getting even numbers, I reckon. They were playing so well, playing really quick-moving, instinctive footy.
McGlynn, hand pass towards the boundary. Chopping it off, though, and sending it towards full forward is Selwood. And this marker is held down there by Richards. Hand passes to Shaw. Just moments ago, we saw Johnson get a good workout. They scramble it away again with a lack of conviction, Sydney. Grundy gave it to Hanbury. And now pushing up the ground. The kick comes from Shaw inside the forward 50. Or rather, the centre square. Now inside the 50 goes Hanbury from the Smith hand pass, but the kick is off target and getting back. Lonigan takes the mark.
Jimmy Shaw setting up brilliantly, wasn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's running hard off half-back. He's the Swans player that want the ball in hands when you're coming off half-back.
Not a good finish there by Hanbury, so Enright. Duncan, well done by Grundy. Goods hasn't been able to get himself into the game at all at a boundary throw-in.
You mentioned Rhys Shaw. He's doing a really important defensive job also on Stephen Motlop. Shaw's up to the 10 possessions, Motlop only the 5, so not only providing the run, but defensively very strong also.
So goals so hard to get at the moment. Well played by the Cats. And then holding up, Kelly was brilliant. Selwood, Smith and Johnson. Gee, Smith played well there, and that looked high. And then McVeigh's hands were good to Bolton. McGlynn probably turned the wrong way there. Back to Jeddah. Now Jeddah confidently. He may get the overlap here. Bird, where is Jeddah? Is he still going? Roberts Thompson. No, he's decided. Well, he gives it to him now. Now he's a magnificent kick, Jeddah. Goes to full forward. There's a lot of Swans. And Reed was flying like a beautiful swan, wasn't he?
He just floated into the air. He's got the height, he's got the reach, but that was just a beautifully timed leap at the footy.
And I tell you what, Jeddah with ball in hand, he is a superb kick.
Doesn't he kick the ball right spot? Yeah, his confidence with ball in hand, Lewis Jeddah, we're talking, that's a fantastic mark getting to the right drop zone.
So Reed, I think he's got it, he has. So he kicks his second and Sydney sink away.
The confidence of Lewis Jeddah when he's carrying the ball now is quite extraordinary to watch over these past 12 months.
Well, the two guys you want with the ball in hand for Sydney at the moment are Shaw and Jeddah, aren't they?
Yeah, no doubt.
Off half-back or centre wing.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get if the Swans can get the ball from Shaw to Jeddah, leading into the forward 50, they're looking pretty good.
Gee, that was a big goal in the context of the match, wasn't it? Geelong had worked hard. Hawkins has missed a big one now.
Now that's a good mark. See Dawson Simpson on screen there, the Geelong ruckman. As someone of that size really needs to influence that contest with some physical contact, but a great mark nonetheless from Sam Reid.
Their first goal in 25 minutes for the Swans. Can they build on that? Duncan comes out of the middle, slips a hand pass to Chapman. Could this be the quick reply? No, it's offline. And through it goes for a minor score. Amazing how that came to be a goal too, because Selwood was breaking through midfield. He hand passed, and it was a bad hand pass, but there was nothing on down the ground. And after that, he remonstrated with Podsiadly because he thought Podsiadly had gotten an impossible position, and he couldn't get the ball to him. McVeigh, left half back, sends it up towards the wing. Mark is taken by Jack. Maybe that last goal has put the seed of confidence back in the Swans. Robert Thompson missed it. Opportunity now for Goods. Feeds it back to McGlynn, who's already kicked a couple. Likes it from here, but hangs it out to the right. A minor score.
Just starting to think I haven't seen a lot of Ben McGlynn in this quarter, so had an outstanding first quarter, but it just has that innate ability to pop up at the right time.
Good kick. And Josh Hunt at half-back. So both teams have kicked a goal in this quarter.
High on, high on.
But Geelong have worked so hard to get themselves back into the match. Good mark taken by Hawkins. And quickly playing on now. Podsiad in a one-on-one. And he sort of got rid of Richards. Now he's on the left, Pods. Left foot bouncing it. Not great. Johnson off a step. Good kick. Some of their kicking out of the back half's been pretty impressive for the last few minutes. Jack just wanting someone to come. He's run a long way. Kicks to a contest. Roberts, Thompson and Scarlett. Oh, that is a great Scarlett mark. He goes past Buddha Hocking tonight on 275. He's number 5 on the all-time list, but he's made a bit of a meal of it in the end. And Hanbury's got the ball with a couple of players streaming forward. O'Keefe short. He'll go to O'Keefe now. He waited too long. Here's Mattner.
Duncan knocked it away. Mattner goes long. Taylor made for Reid. No, just too long. Runs away from him and goes out of bounds. And a few recriminations amongst the Cats. Matthew Scarlett having a look at Corey Enright there, wondering what the heck that hand pass was all about. Played on a bit too quickly.
Geelong about 14 inside 50s for 1 goal 2 this quarter. So that's the problem. When you play loose back, you're going to concede one down the other end. So the ball's getting there, but they can't break the Swans' defence.
So the margin, as it was at quarter time, at 35. There's Chapman. Goes out again. So just under 4.5 minutes to half-time on a pretty cool night here in Sydney. So they've been able to stabilise the Cats. That's the best you can say. In front of the pack, Kelly, who received a pretty hard knock. Look away hand pass. Taylor to Chapman around the outer side, coming out at Hawkins, the only man who really wanted that footing. Hawkins in front of what is a vast construction site. Drives it down towards half forward. Shaw, who's had a good turn that time, safety first, punches it out of bounds.
They just have to try and kick the ball to each other, Geelong. They've got no overlap run, have they? You just don't sense it, Geelong. Any Geelong players running, receiving the hand pass, carrying the ball into space. It tends to be a kick to each other, so the ball goes forward quite slowly.
Pike and West. West won the tap, only as far as Bolton to Smith to McVeigh. McVeigh arched his back, kicks the ball to half forward. Scarlett comes in third man. Taylor, Jetta takes on Scarlett. He mightn't be as quick, Scarlett, but he's a really, really great defender. We know that. Kelly off a step, marked by Johnson. Johnson quickly on to Kennedy. Poor kick by Kennedy. Back to Wajinski. Poor kick by Wajinski. That's a free kick.
Possession. Drag him off the footy.
So against Selwood there, just arguing the point a little. So McGlynn off a step, marked by Kennedy at centre wing. 1 goal either way before half-time. Critical, you would think. Bolton. So where does Bolton go? Does he go to the top of the goal square? He does. And Mumford leading out, and Scarlett building it away for a boundary throw.
Well, he didn't go to the top of the goal square. If he dropped the ball 10 to 15 metres out, but he tried to go to the lead, and then the ball gets forced out of bounds. They had even numbers deep forward then.
I just wonder now whether the Cats have given this one their best shot. They threw everything with the Swans to open this term. Couldn't really penetrate. It was a free kick to Chapman.
Just too long, mate, too long.
Clock running down to half-time. And for all their efforts in attacking, they've really made no inroads. As I said, the margin remains the same. Knowing the Cats as we do, probably at half-time they'll come back after stealing themselves yet again after that long walk to the change rooms. Here's Scarlett. Got it from Taylor, but how long will they be able to go with little reward if that's the case? So much to look forward to in the second half. Champs for so long being sorely tested right now away from home. At the back of the pack, Richards. He's got plenty of help there. Knew where it was too. Goes to Johnson. Johnson around the outer side. Ball runs free. Coming up to mid at Corey Enright. Slips a hand pass away. Steve Johnson back across the ground. Barely to 15, but the mark is taken by Hunt. Now, Joel Corey. Haven't called him for a while. Is he? Okay. Where is it? There goes the kick from Scarlett.
He's on the wing out here, Dennis. About to get the next kick, maybe.
Ah, see? That's what you call direction.
Taylor's kick, a good one.
I agree with Lee's analysis that Geelong are very static, and at the SCG you need to be able to break the lines, because if you break the line at centre half back, you can actually get it to full forward. At the moment they're just chipping it around, just trying to hold on the ball, and they have exerted a lot of energy in this early part of the quarter.
Just 4 disposals for Joel Corey, and that kick going to be turned over. Matner, well, Shaw, and that's a lovely kick by Shaw to Mumford. Well, thought he might have done enough there, Mumford. Duncan off a step. Bartel talked about his influence. Chapman rides one, can't quite ride the second. Back to Bartel, always head over the ball. Kelly, but they are retreating. Hunt back to Enright, and then Enright off that step to Chapman, and then Chapman swings it inside. Kick forward by Corey to Johnson. All their great names there. They've got 7 players tonight that have played 200 games. Johnson demanding and getting from his captain in Selwood. So Selwood probably within range. This would be just about right on it for him, wouldn't it?
It's just a kick and mark game. Geelong have had 119 kicks and 59 marks. So they're basically just kicking the ball to each other, but very low in handballs. Only had 60 handballs. Very few of them, I reckon, would have been those running from behind, run into space, receive and carry.
Brett Kirk mentioned at the start of the night that Selwood's been kicking goals in the last month. That is a good one.
Wow.
A really good kick and a very important goal.
Yes, I think you just said, Dennis, you know that Geelong, they haven't been dominant this year, but gee, they're hard to beat. You know that they'll always find a way to be competitive. So a 5-goal deficit going into half-time is
James, what's the problem?
certainly within their reach all the time.
It's going to tell us a bit, isn't it, Lee?
Walk away. James. James. Hey.
Up by McInerney.
And I was getting there and I was dealing with it. You come here, I understand that, but I've still got a role to do to try and slow one down. You're not helping it, James.
Good like Oprah.
That's good communication, isn't it, really? Just civil talk between umpire and player, what's going on, why I'm doing what.
Kennedy flung a boot at it. There's the siren for half-time. So how important will that last goal prove to be? Certainly the Cats stay within touch, barely. It's 8-2, plays 3-3. I mentioned Joel Corey struggling. Well, he got 2 possessions late in that term. Got to mention those, having mentioned that he'd rarely been cited. Otherwise, he'll never forgive me, the boy from Girraween.